How's it, everybody? Welcome back to the Rocky Fern. My name is Luca and I have OI type 4, and in today's episode we're going to be doing a big repot on 6 different alocasias. So let's get into it. Alright, so we actually have 7 alocasias that we're going to repot, and we're going to actually take them out of pond and we're going to put them into an aeroid mix. I love pond, but I think the aeroid mix produces better results just for the way I water. I tend to not fertilize as much for fear of burning, and I think pond really requires a pretty heavy hand when it comes to fertilizer. So I love pond for a lot of stuff. I have other alocasias that are in pond, but these 7 are going to be going to the aeroid mix. So we are going to start with this guy, the smallest first. This is the if you can see there, that's the Alocasia rugosa. I love this Alocasia. It's another type of jewel Alocasia. And let's dump out that pond. Okay. Alright, so what we'll do is dump it out here. And the nice thing about pond is you usually get really big root growth. And so you get a very nice root ball, which I really enjoy because it just makes for a very easy transition. And then, alright, so shake all that pond off. And look at those roots. That's awesome root structure right there. And of course, any corms that I find, I will try to plant. Some of the corms are already leafed out in some of the other pots, so that's going to be awesome. Put this guy right here. Look how stiff the leaf is. That's such a cool leaf. Alright, so we're going to put it into a 4-inch pot. Actually, this is going to be a 5-inch pot. And what I want to do, get that root structure in there, and let me go grab some more. All right, shake that. Do a little shake method here. And this has a bunch of homemade compost, which is super rich, but it's well aged, so it shouldn't burn this plant at all. And I've tried a couple other experiments with this aeroid mix with some other alocasias, and they're doing great. So I think this guy will as well. There's trade-offs, of course, with any method, but I think I'm making the right choice, or a better choice here. All right, so let's get that in there. Grab some fertilizer and a systemic. These are being kept indoors, so get this guy topped off with a systemic, and also some fertilizer. Now, this slow release fertilizer doesn't compete with the nutrient uptake of the compost, so that's really nice. And then of course I'll water these in when I'm all done. So there's one done, the rugulosum. Awesome. All right, next we're going to be doing this really cool one. This I got from Planted with Dirt, or the Houseplant Co. out of New York. Derek, he's an awesome company to order from. Alright, so these guys are really cool. The Black Panther, Alocasia Black Panther, has that really nice dark leaf. I've noticed he hasn't really put on big leaves in the pond. So of course, like I said, I do very weak waterings, feeding, so I try to have a lighter approach, but I think the pond setup just requires a little heavier dosage of fertilizer. I do have slow release in here, but for some reason it's not the type of growth I would expect out of this type of Alocasia. So we are going to swap over like the rest, and we should expect to see really big roots as always. Okay. Yeah, I like that root structure. I haven't seen too many corms in the smaller leafed ones, which I guess I'm not surprised about. But for some reason this one didn't really particularly like the pond setup. Could be my own particular pond setup, who knows. But this is going to go into a 6-inch pot. Okay. 6-inch pond. Get that in there. One guy that I really enjoy watching is the Sydney plant guy on YouTube. He's got a huge Alocasia cuprea, and he keeps in an aeroid mix, and it is, I mean, that's gold status right there. That's awesome. So when you're planting Alocasia, you definitely don't want to go too high over the crown. Let me see if I can get that in there. Right here is where the root structure starts. I might come up just maybe another 1/2 inch. Of course, this will settle, but that's okay. Okay, tap that in. Same thing, we'll do some fertilizer. Some systemic. Okay. I'll just tap that in. There we go, the Alocasia Black Panther, and I'll wash all the leaves off too. Typically I'll take these into the shower and do that, but we're overdue. So that's why they're a little bit dusty looking. Great sheen on this leaf though. Alright, so what's next? Let's do the Alocasia sculprum. This is one of my all-time favorite plants. Oh my gosh. Look at this leaf. I can't even get it in frame. That is such a cool leaf. And it does have a corm in the bottom here that has leafed out, so that's going to go into a small little 2-ounce solo cup, and that will go into a prop box. It will go into pond because I want to focus on root growth. But this is going to go into a aeroid mix like the rest. Alright, so let's get this guy dumped. Oh, the cup is very firm, so I'm assuming the roots are huge on this. Oh, there's the tiniest little corm. Jeez, that is crazy. I'm gonna hurry and replant that one first once I get this out of the cup. There we go. Wow. Now, one thing I look to when it comes to pond is if you start to see growth slow down, then you for sure have a root bound plant. And as long as you're feeding regularly, most plants can tolerate, especially Alocasia can handle being root bound for a while. But me personally, I like to get them out and into a bigger pot sooner than later. But yeah, look at that. That root ball is amazing. All white roots, really nice. There's the old plug. That was probably rockwool or something. Very cool. I've always wanted a sculprum, and when I got it, I was none too impressed. So I think that's the saying anyway. But yeah, beautiful plant. Let me hurry and get this other guy planted up. So here it is. Here's my little shot glass, Dixie cup shot glass. I'll put this cutting in here. Take some pond, put it on top. Of course, you won't take out any of these roots. And this will go into a prop box. That is the tiniest corm I've ever seen leaf out. That's cool. This one might have actually been more of a rhizomatic vegetative growth rather than a corm, but Very cool. This guy is gonna go into another 6-inch pot. Because the root ball is so big, we're gonna kind of just do a smaller level of dirt underneath and then top fill. Now what I want to do is, because it's going from a semi-hydro to a aeroid mix, it is going to be a little bit of stress, but because it is a very airy but yet moisture retaining mix, it should actually be a pretty seamless transition as those roots adjust to a more of a aeroid mix. Okay, get that in there. Okay, I actually like the look of this better. Let's get some fertilizer on there. We'll get some systemic on there. This guy did flower for me, and I cut it off, and it shot out these 2 leaves since I've done that. This old leaf, which was 3 leaves ago, was right before the flower, which is why these 2 are smaller. But yeah, so there's a sculprum. Now, let's move on to the aslani. The aslani is trying to flower like crazy right now. This one I am worried that it is going to have a ton of root ball in here, a ton of roots, and that might be why it is flowering. It's a little stressed perhaps, maybe not, maybe it's happy. But we are going to get it out of there. And any corms. I love the aslani because of that fuchsia pink veination in there. It's a very dusty leaf, but man, it is such a pretty leaf. That came out a lot quicker than I thought it would. Here's the root plug. That's a peat base, looks like. But yeah, there's a couple corms in there. One just broke off. Oh, actually, there's a ton of corms. Look at these 2. Those 2 corms. This newest guy just came off. Sometimes there's 3, 4. Actually, that's just a root. Some of the corms can be very big and obviously healthy, and other ones look dead. But you plant them and they sprout leaves, so it's always kind of a surprise what is good and what's not. Here, I'll take off these. So here's a flower stem that I cut off. These are also going to be, I think, flowers. So hopefully once I transplant it, we'll just knock that off of flowering for now and just work on getting a bigger root system in place. Get that situated in there. All right, I got a trip coming up, so I'm trying to make, actually by the time you guys see this, I'll be on my trip to the mainland, checking out all kinds of stuff. I'm hoping to make some content while I'm over there checking out different nurseries. It's going to be in Utah, so it's going to be awesome. Great time of weather, much needed vacation. So get some important visits done. But yeah, all right, let me kind of lift this up here and then shake this in. Actually, we need to backfill this side. Let me come over here again. All right, gonna do the old tappa. Shake it in, that looks pretty good. Get some fertilizer going. And also some systemic. Tap, tap, tap. And I'll do an update on this because I want you guys to see that I really think Alocasia is why they love pond, and if you can keep up on that heavy-handed fertilizer method, or regimen rather, they do great. I've seen a lot of great success, but I'm going to do an update, and I'm gonna put money on it that these guys are gonna be just shooting off in growth. So there's the aslani, an awesome Alocasia. Here's one of my top favorite Alocasia. It's the watsoniana. I mean, how can you not like that? These guys get huge. They are not a jewel alocasia. These guys can get, you know, 30-inch leaves, just enormous. The backside is just this dark burgundy, purple, black. It's amazing. Nice crystal veination. So anyway, let's get started on the watsoniana. It's also one that kind of died back a little bit and just made a giant recovery, and I think that's why the roots aren't as big on this like I was hoping for. This guy was not too happy. Usually pond is great, and I would actually plant in pond more times than not, but it could also be that the zeolite that I purchased is a sand grade. It's you know, grading of sand, and so it might be too fine for this type of application. But I couldn't source any other of the zeolite, so I had to use that very fine grade, but I don't use it anymore. But anyway, there's quite a few corms on here. I'm going to leave them on, but I am going to break off this little sister plant. Let's look how easy that comes off. That is so cool. So now we have 2 plants, and that way they don't have to compete with each other. And I saw a corm drop in here. Is that all the corms I saw? I think so. Alright, this guy is going to go into a 6-inch pot, but this guy is going to go into a 5 or 4-inch pot. Let's do a 5-inch pot. Okay, so maybe what I'll do is pick some of this out. Let me get in frame here. So there's the 5-inch pot. The smaller watsoniana is going to go in there. Really nice roots. And then get that topped in. Shaky shake. Yeah, I'd love to see some more of the house tours from the Sydney plant guy. He actually does a lot of content. He's awesome to watch. He is one of my favorites, but I could always watch a house tour, even rewatch him, you know. Let's get him a little higher up in the soil level. I had to change the SD card. Anyway, never ends when you're filming. Always something, but it is what it is. Okay, so that's that guy. Let's get him some fertilizer and some systemic. Happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day, you guys. By the time you guys watch this, it'll be past that, but still kind of cool. Nice to be outside enjoying the day on this awesome celebration of America. So there's the little one done. Let's do the big one now. You can hear my chicks over there. I got 5 silkies and a wild type chicken. Of course, if you've ever been to Kauai, you know that we get a ton of chickens. And we rescued one of them, and she grew up. Her name's Toasty. I can introduce you guys in another video. Maybe this video, I don't know. But let's get this guy topped off here. I'm going to shake them in as I lift up on it to kind of get the soil to settle around the roots. Okay, and then let's do the backside. There we go. Okay. Alright. Fertilizer on there. And systemic. Now, again, if these guys were going outside and were actively flowering, I don't think I'd be using the systemic. But inside, I absolutely do. So there's the watsoniana. It's kicking butt. Loving it. Next one. Alright, so let's do the Alocasia reticulata. And I got that from the Green Escape. We'll do an individual spotlight on that here in a little bit, but it's going to go into a 5-inch pot. I'm trying to think. I haven't had it very long. but I'm hoping it gets the same size as the zebra alocasia, because that thing is enormous. I'll get some footage of that later at the end of the video so you guys can check that out. It is super happy in the aeroid mix. It has shot up in growth, so very decent root structure though. Loving it. And this, you can see, was the newer mix that has the larger grade zeolite on it. So I think that's the key to the success of this one. I'm gonna kind of tuck this guy in a little bit, and I might have to transplant him in like 6 to 8 months because his root ball is really big. So let's go. Let's see. Get him going that side. Hi guys, what are you doing? All right, kind of firm him in a little bit. Keep tapping it so that I can get him in. All right, so I think that's pretty good. Get some food on him and get some systemic. All right, these guys are a lot like the Zebrina, but their structure on their leaf structure is a lot more like if you were to look at an aerial view of like Lake Powell or Lake Mead. Just that really cool kind of veining look to them with the darker green against the yellowish green, lime green background. And then of course the petioles. How can you not like those petioles? Those petioles are awesome. But like the Zebrina. Now we're going to do the reticulated bambino. This is really cool, and I got this from Bee Leaf Tropicals. Really pretty. Let's see, where is its newest leaf? This is its newest leaf, so it isn't variegated, but it does throw off little bits of variegation. And what's cool is the back of the leaves too are really pretty. Nice dark purple. Bambino is a jewel-sized orchid. They stay pretty small. But kept on a nice top lighting, it develops a really cool canopy like this, where they all kind of face up as opposed to chasing light. So I like the look of this plant quite a bit. So let's get this guy out. I'm sure this guy's gonna have a big root ball. I'm almost positive about it. Oh yeah. Gosh, look at these thick roots. For sure. So this is going to be one of those, it's going to take off once it's in a bigger pot. This is also kept in that newer mix that has the larger grade zeolite. I really like zeolite, which is why I went with that sand grade, that really fine grade, but yeah, I think it was a mistake. So, but yeah, look at that. Super nice, fine hair roots, thick major roots. Couple corms in there. Oh, you know what? I am messing up these corms, aren't I? Put those to the side. Okay. Yeah, really nice. Oh my goodness. Are there any other corms in here? Nope. Alright. Cool. So yeah, let's get that guy planted up. Put him right here. Okay, get him kind of dug in a little bit, get those roots spread out, and then, yeah. Get the top dressed here, flip them back this way, get that back side. He's definitely going to need a little bit more. Come on, guys, come out the way. There you go, good job. All right. All right, let me get the other side real quick. All right, let's do the old poke method. All right, that guy in there. Alright, get this guy topped off here. Yep. Same old mix we always do. Okay. Get that in there. That's it. Look how freaking pretty that is. Bambino. There's, like I was saying earlier, there's one other variegated alocasia I would like to get my hands on to complete the variegated collection, and that's the pink variegated black velvet. Real quick, while we're talking about alocasia, that this newest leaf, while it wasn't variegated, the newest leaf that's popping has a ton of variegation on it. I don't know if you guys can see that. I don't want to unfurl it, but it's got a lot of nice pink and white in there, so that guy's done. Alright, and then kind of the creme de la creme is my variegated Frydek, which I really enjoy this plant. It is super hardy. It just gave me a half moon on its newest leaf. I love it, and I like how when it first comes out it's kind of like this minty pale yellow color, and then it'll fade to this white, stark white. And every leaf is different, so it's always a surprise. And then in the bottom, let's see if I can get that, you can see that there's this little tiny seed, little baby plant in there. There's actually 2 of them. So we'll see what we have when we dump this guy out. It feels very firm in the cup. Let's see what we have. Pinchy, 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 pinchy. Come on now. Oh, come on. Wow. Ton of roots. This guy is super happy in the pond mix. And I think he'll be even happier in the aeroid mix. So I'm kind of glad I caught it when I did, because it started to encircle the inside diameter of the cup and kind of make a little root cup of its own, trapping all the pond inside. And I was having to water a ton, so maybe 4 times a week, which is, you know, obviously a clear sign that you need to transplant, up pot rather. All right, so I don't want to break these off just nilly-willy, so we are going to try our best to get these guys to separate with as much root intact as can. He's going quiet. Okay, let's see if we can get this guy out here. Wow, look at that. Oh, look at that half moon. That is beautiful. This is a very good little sister plant here. All right, let's go for this guy now. Oh, actually there are 3 little sister plants in here. All right, let's see. I think those are, oh no, those are baby chickens. We also get neighborhood chickens that come in and feed out of the feeder once the door opens. And I let my other chickens out, which I think is funny. But anyway, okay, so I broke that off, the mother plant, and that's the beauty part with Frydek. So, you know, it's still a pretty pricey plant, and so you can make your money back pretty easy by selling off these little rooted vegetative growth. So the variegation on that is exquisite. I like that a lot. Let's get this other guy off if we can, just being very gentle not to break anything but the main root. Oh, like that. We did a good job. Okay. Alright, here we go. Another good one. Yep. And the 3 younger plants are going to go into pond, while this older one is going to go, the mother plant's going to go into a 6-inch pot. So let's save that for the sister plants. Ah, look at that. That is so pretty. Okay. Get some soil here. Great root ball. Really nice root ball. Okay, and let me get some soil here. Flip this side, and then I'll flip it over. Okay, and let's do one more, and then we can kind of set it up. Maybe half-half. Okay, tap her in. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Get it all firmed away. And then let's get some more on top. Okay. And as this settles, it should settle really nicely in between the roots. Okay. There we go. What do you guys think? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's get some fertilizer in there. And then some systemic. Okay, they all shaky, shaky. There it is. Let's get the other guys planted up. So here's the cup. It's got the little hole drilled in it. And what I do is I'll pot it up like that. In fact, maybe what I'll do is do mostly empty at first, just so those roots can kind of find their way down, find them to fight. Okay, let's get a little bit more pond in here. Alright, get that guy. Okay, pond's nice though because it's super easy to work with, especially when it's dry. This is wet, but it will be just fine. Then get some fertilizer in there. And that will go get watered until the water runs out like normal, and then thrown into a prop box, mainly because I am leaving for a couple weeks. And I want to make it easy on the person who's going to be watching the plant. So there's one. There's that guy. All right. There's that guy. Now we can't forget about the corms. Let's try and get the corms planted up. So there's the moss. Put a little bit more in there. And then I'll kind of plant the corms in here. And top it off with some more sphagnum moss. Give it a good water through, and that will also go into a prop box. So I'll be right back. Okay, so here are all our plants here. We have the aslani, one of the variegated fried egg pups. Here's the reticulated. There's the rugulosum. This is one of the bigger watsoniana. Here's another of the baby fried eggs, the scalprum, the mother plant of the fried egg, the black panther, the bambino. There's the smaller of the watsoniana and the other variegated fried egg. Let's go take a look at the really big zebra. That'll be kind of a quick update. Alright, so here's the zebrina. This leaf is huge. I don't know if you can see that, but it's enormous. It's starting to put out this newest leaf right here, and it stands probably up 3 feet tall. And this is kind of cool because it is throwing a little bit of sport variegation right here, which it did when it's younger, and then it kind of went away. Now this leaf threw off a little bit of the sport variegation. So the zebrina is definitely huge, 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 huge. All right, so here's my little flock of chickens. This black one right here, that's Midnight. Snowflop, that's the wild one that we call Toasty. The 3 that just ran off are my youngest silkies. Let's go take a look at them real quick. Alright, so let me zoom in here. So you got Nikki, the black one right there is called Fung, and Trinity is the one that just went away. So there they are. And if you like what you see, make sure to stay tuned. We got a lot of other videos coming in, but if you like what you see, make sure to give a thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next video.